back to another episode of 12-inch Figure Fanatic. Today we're going to finish off our three-part series doing the reviews of the 3-0 Stranger Things line with the Demogorgon, the biggest figure I've unboxed in a while. It might even be bigger than my Groot from the Hot Toys Guardians of the Galaxy line. But let's open this up and see what we got going on. All right, let's open this up. Now, those of you who have Dettol shelves from IKEA to display your figures, this would definitely not work well for you. This kind of reminds me of the Alien figure that I got a while back. I think that was Sideshow. Back in the early days of 1/6 scale figure collecting. It's got a real nice plastic smell to it. Let's get all these plastic wraps around there off. Okay, so I like, first of all, that the elbows are seamless. There's a nice rubbery texture here, and they did that seamless. But they did not do the same for the knees. The knees are not, which I don't understand. I think they could have done that, and just like with the wrists, and the wrists could have easily also been seamless. I don't know, maybe that's asking too much, but there's definitely there's a rubber sort of texture. There's a shallowness to the, I think there's a hardened basic structure underneath, and then it's got this sort of one-piece rubbery shell. Actually, this is also not seamless, but you could forgive that because you could assume that this is just part of the sculpt of the way he's shaped, but it's noticeable here for sure. But you have full dexterity, which is important because in the show, this figure does move around quite a bit and get in some pretty extended poses. And then the head sculpt is fully rotatable. Yeah, that's interesting how they do that. There's a rubber, once again, that just kind of tucks under there. So no matter where you angle it, it pretty much conceals any joints. I like that. This has some flex to it as well. And definitely good enough detailing in there. Look at that. Frightful. But yeah, they did a real good job with the paint job on this. It's definitely got enough layering and texture to it. I appreciate that. The figures, fingers, they flex a little bit, but they don't hold. It would have been nice if maybe there was some wireframe in here and you can kind of sculpt them a little bit. But instead, it looks like they just include some extra hands. All right, so this one is just kind of closed, a little bit more closed than the other one. And then you've got a head sculpt with the mouth closed, which I like this one better. I don't know, this reminds me of sort of Silent Hill, this head sculpt, those scary nurses. All right, and then we got some extra joints, I guess, in case the others break. It's always nice when they throw those in. And then we have this base, which is important because it has sort of an awkward footing, and you would need a base in order to keep it properly standing. So I would have liked something like this actually for the other two figures that I did the reviews on, Dustin and 11. It would have been nice to have a smaller version of this for those figures as well. But let's set this up and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts on this figure. The base, the neck of the base, it actually has to get screwed in from underneath. And not only that, but it doesn't screw in tightly. So it's it's very wobbly, as you can see, and it's hard to keep the figure level. So it's almost just, it defeats the whole purpose. But other than that, I really do like this figure. I guess it remains to be seen if you pose it like this with the crease looking the way it does, how much of that will stay. If it remains like this for a long period of time, you might have some permanent morphing of that area. But I'm going to give this figure a 7.5 out of 10. I remember it being pretty expensive. I know it's larger than the average figure, but it also doesn't come with too much. There is a lot of detailing, so I appreciate that, but there are just a few shortcomings. If they were going to put a crease in the elbow, they should have done so in the knee as well. I do like how the back knee, I don't know what you would call that, but this knee bends, and then this knee bends as well. And then, of course, the ankle. But I appreciate that they also include the extra head, and that's pretty much it. It's going to look great next to the other figures. I'm looking forward to the other Stranger Things figures coming out in the coming months, and I will see you next time.